Welcome to Snoozecast, the podcast designed to help you fall asleep. Find us on snoozecast.com and follow us on social media and wherever you listen to podcasts. Our current goal is to get to 100 written reviews on the podcast app to help new listeners find us. If you haven't subscribed and written a review yet, please do. We get closer to our goal every week. Your reviews continue to amaze us, and we learn from your feedback as well. So thank you for taking the time to share. This episode is supported by Gusty Winds Heard from Bed. Tonight, we bring you Sunday Dinner, a Snoozecast original. In this story, experience visiting an old friend's cozy farm home and the comforting meal prepared and enjoyed inside. Let's get cozy. Close your eyes. Relax your body into the softness of your bed. Now, take a few deep breaths. Sunday dinner. Smoke curls up and out of a 1.5-story cabin topped with a red tin roof. The smell of wood smoke is in the brisk air all around this small homestead. A narrow lane of light gray asphalt bordered on both sides by disorderly stone walls is sometimes used for deliveries, the running of errands, and the welcoming of friends by those who call this cabin home. There's a sense of openness about this place. Across the road, there are wide open hayfields, currently laid low by the late autumn chill. A thin strip of bare, brown trees on the other side of the little traveled byway stand at the front edge of the property. Most of the land is wooded, but there is a not small field of low grass surrounding the cabin on all sides. To the right of the home, 11 apple trees comprise a tidy orchard. Just 1 month before, the orchard's branches were heavy with fruit. As the weather cooled, the baseball-sized apples were picked and carefully placed in wicker baskets, which were then carried into the home and either stored for the winter or made into pies and preserves. Falling leaves followed the harvest, which left the little orchard and the surrounding wood, which seemed to brood always, even during the bright summers, completely exposed. At this time of year, the property always took on an air of responsibility. Gone were the scattered toys and lawn tools. Those had been tucked away long before the first snowfall of the season, along with a small ladder for plucking apples in the orchard and an assortment of rusted but still useful yard tools. Hours had been spent raking and burning the fallen leaves in great fires that roared late into the night, keeping the cold at bay for a little while at least. On the first floor of the cabin, there are 4 rooms. A bedroom is located in the northwestern corner of the small house, adjacent to the living room, which opens up into a dining room and a small kitchen. In the home's basement, there's a coal-black cast-iron wood stove. Its heavy walls hold flames that are kept bright with the logs that are stacked neatly along the basement's back wall. Firelight cast undulating shadows across the splintered tinder. The fuel had been driven apart by hand with the aid of an axe, a large mallet, and a triangular-shaped spike, about 7 inches in length. The wood, taken from a birch that had grown too heavy for the loose soil where it took root, had been left to cure all last winter until most of the moisture had evaporated, leaving light, dry sticks that would burn clean and bright all through the coming cold. Heat from the stove rises into the first floor of the home, continuing its upward climb until it reaches the cabin's second floor, and there it pools near the ceiling, low in places courtesy of the slightly sloped red tin roof. The master bedroom is located on the second floor, directly above the kitchen. The bedroom's floor ends at a wooden railing in the center of the room. The railing is used to prevent any potential sleepwalkers from stepping out of the room and into the first floor study. Looking down from the railing affords a view of a ragged, well-worn couch set next to a bay window with a view of the field, stone wall, and woods behind the small cabin. To the right of the couch, nestled against the side of the cabin's east wall, there are stacks of papers and books on a low shelf. On top of the shelf, there's a record player. Nearby, crates hold stacks of vinyl records, tucked into their cardboard sleeves beneath the study's high, wood-paneled ceiling. While the residents of the home found that each room has its specific charms, the late afternoon light had a way of giving the lower bedroom a warm, sleepy ambiance, while the morning light in the study was particularly conducive if one was seeking clarity. They found that it was the kitchen that proved to be the beating heart of their cozy homestead. The kitchen is a factory. It ramps up for production on most mornings with the wet ringing of a tea kettle and closes for the night when the light over the gas range is clicked off after a final counter wipe clearing away crumbs and the possibility of a late-night critter visit. On this late Sunday morning, the kitchen's assembly line is whirring at full capacity. Boiling water bubbles in a stainless steel pot atop the gas burner's neon blue flame. Steam rises and hangs in the heavy air, which is also filled with a rhythmic chopping. Carrots, onions, potatoes, and garlic are all being prepared. Papery onion skins, curled and light as feathers, start to collect in a wooden pail placed on the counter. The light brown, watery peels of the potatoes begin to fill the bucket, and, adding a touch of color, the orange carrot peels start falling into the bin. Once the bucket is filled, it's carried out of the kitchen into the bracing air and across the field, where it is tilted over a pile of compost. There, the unwanted debris will spend the winter undergoing a transformation into rich soil that in turn will be used to help the spring crop take seed. Back in the kitchen, there's a splash as the potatoes slide from the cutting board into the boiling water. Inside the oven, there's a roast that's nearly done as the air in the home begins to take on a rich scent. Outside, a car slowly pulls into the driveway, its tires softly crunching on the gravel path. The car door shuts with a dull thud, and soon the passengers are at the front door of the cabin, which opens swiftly and closes just as swiftly in a thrifty bid for warmth. The table in the dining room is longer than usual, with the addition of 2 wooden leaves that had been brought out from their long-term storage inside the bathroom closet. The table is simply set with blue plates and white cloth napkins. On the range in the kitchen, there is a bowl of potatoes mashed together with chives and garlic, a plate of roasted carrots drizzled in honey, alongside a wicker basket filled with freshly baked rolls, all waiting to be brought to the dining room table. An egg timer chimes, signaling that the main meal is ready to be removed from the oven and set to rest before being carved and served. The door of the oven opens, revealing a cast iron enamel crock pot colored red. 2 oven mitts grip the heavy pot's handles, and it is removed. 2 pies, 1 apple, 1 cherry, that had been set near a drafty windowsill are placed inside. The oven door closes, and the egg timer is set for one final time this Sunday. The cook had planned for the pies to bake while the roast, potatoes, carrots, and the rolls are served. As dinner ends, the pies will be just about ready and removed back to the drafty sill, where they will cool as the kitchen whirs with activity once again, while the various pots, pans, and utensils are scrubbed clean, dried, and returned to their respective drawers and cupboards. But now the plates and bowls of carrots and potatoes and the wicker basket with the rolls are all being brought to the dining room table where everyone has gathered. After the food is set down and the steaming vegetables are being passed around the table until everyone's plate is filled. When the plates are empty again, they are taken away from the table and put in the kitchen sink. The kitchen once again whirs to life at a frenzied pace. Steam from hot water rises out of the sink as the dirty forks, knives, plates, cups, bowls, and spoons are all scrubbed clean in the soapy water. Then they're placed in an adjacent basin where they're rinsed in cold, clear water. After a furious drying with a white towel, the cutlery is placed carefully back in their respective cupboards and drawers. As the kitchen starts to take on a more orderly state, the work ends for a moment for the removal of the pies from the oven to the drafty windowsill where they cool for another moment before being set in the center of the now clean dining room table. A silver pie server, saved only for special occasions such as today, and which had been used to serve cake at a long ago wedding, cuts into the crust. The slices are slipped out of the pie tins and onto small plates. Their respective fillings, apple and cherry, add a dash of gold and red to the mahogany table. After the pies are gone, the last burst of activity in the kitchen for the day begins. This is a small-scale cleanup operation compared to the ones that followed the main meal, and the small plates and few forks used for dessert are cleaned and put away in a brief amount of time. With the kitchen closed for the evening, the guests linger for another hour. They sit in the living room and wander to and from the study, where soft music can be heard coming from the record player. Eventually, the goodbyes begin, and coats are taken off of the hangers in the hall closet where they had been placed when the guest had first arrived. The front door of the cabin is soon crowded with people putting on coats, gloves, mittens, and hats. As they become more and more bundled, the conversation quickens with goodbyes and see you soons. Outside, car headlights turn on one by one, coinciding with the sound of engines starting. Tires crunch in the gravel as the cars back up onto the country road in the twilight. Red brake lights grow distant as they flicker in between the thin stand of trees that line the lane. It's late now. The fire in the cast iron wood stove has burned down. Red and black embers pulsate with heat inside the heavy cast iron stove. Upstairs, the lights have been turned off on the first floor. In the master bedroom, there is one small reading lamp still burning, lighting the pages of a collection of essays. Reading these quiet meditations on life are a pleasant way to unwind at the end of the day. The book is closed and the light is turned off, but the room is not dark yet. Moonlight streams in from the second-story windows, giving the bedroom a dreamlike quality. In the sky outside, amid a field of stars, in the dark night, there's a crescent moon. The moonlight shines on the small cabin and the surrounding fields and the tidy orchard with its 11 trees. The light illuminates ancient stone walls that run along the side of the road and in the woods. They cross former fields abandoned long ago, which have been since reclaimed by the forest. In the forest, there are the sounds of rustling as voles and other small critters move through the night. There is the sound of an owl crying in low tones here and there. About 20 yards from the tree line of the field, a stream cuts through the wood. In the dark, it burbles quietly as cold water rushes over the smooth stones at the bottom of the stream. The wind gusts. Branches softly rattle. A cloud passes over the moon, darkening the fields and forest and the country road. The road snakes away from the cabin to the center of a small town. The road passes farms along the way. One farm is located on top of a small hill. The road also crosses a small bridge at the foot of a hill. The road goes up the hill and passes an old school. Just past the old school is the center of the small town. There is a town green with a small white gazebo where in the summer bands play. Small shops line the streets on both sides of the town green. There's a barber shop, which is open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday during the day, and into the night on Thursday nights only. The shop is closed on Sundays. Along the street, there's also a bank, a clothing store, a market, and offices where attorneys and insurance agents perform their duties. There are also 2 restaurants, a post office, and a watch repair shop. All of the businesses are quiet and closed at this late hour. There's only the sound of the quiet wind. The wind breathes in slowly and gently, then breathes out slowly and gently. The night is relaxed. The wind takes another breath in, filling up slowly, and then releasing gently. You are relaxed. Your eyes are closed and heavy. You take another gentle breath in and then release it in a quiet exhale. You feel very relaxed. You take another breath in and release it slowly before falling asleep in the quiet